And if you're not making money while you sleep, what's the point? And how I almost lost thousands of dollars. Hello and welcome to the part 2 of Investing 101 series. Part 1 was up last week. Make sure you check it out if you haven't already. In part 1, we discussed why you should invest as early as possible. I even showed you the calculations and the questions you need to ask yourself before investing. In today's video, I'll discuss the magic of compounding, the investment ratio, how much you should invest, how to calculate the returns you're gonna get after a certain period, and where you should invest. The best investment options available. If you're new around here, this channel is all about business, mindset, spirituality, and my journey as an entrepreneur. Give this video a big thumbs up if you like it, subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified every single time I post a new video. Before I discuss where you can invest, let me introduce you to the power of compounding. We've all studied compound interest in school. Compounding is the process in which an asset's earnings from either capital gains or interest are reinvested to generate additional earnings over time. Compounding is the process by which interest is credited to an existing principal amount as well as to interest already paid. Sounds complicated, right? It's not. It's very simple. In simple words, compounding happens when your interest starts earning interest. And obviously, you're also earning interest on the principal amount, in addition to the interest on interest. Principal amount is the amount you had initially invested. Now that magnifies returns to interest over time, which is the so-called miracle of compounding. Okay, let me explain with an example. For example, you invest 100 rupees, dollars, any currency in 1 year, or the first year you earn 10% interest on it, which is 10 rupees. So now you have 100 plus 10, 110 rupees. Okay, in the next year on this 110, you again earn 10% interest, which is 11. And now you have 121 rupees, 110 plus 11. And the same happens in the third year. Now you have 133 rupees. You can do the math. And that's how your interest earns you interest. The cycle will keep repeating itself as long as your investments are doing good. But you also have to understand that the compound interest works on both assets and liabilities. While it makes you money on the assets, it can also increase the amount of money owed on a loan. Now let's talk about the investment ratio. So there's a 50-30-20 rule, where the 50% of your entire salary goes towards your needs. Needs like your rent, groceries, EMI, utilities, and so on. Basically the things you cannot compromise on. You basically have no choice. Then we have 30% that you spend on your wants. Now the wants include the expenses that are not absolutely necessary. Things like gym membership, eating out, traveling, you get the point. But if possible, limit the amount you spend on your wants and invest that amount instead. And then we have 20% left. You should invest at least 20% of your monthly income. And of course, you can increase the percentage later on or when you get comfortable with the idea of investing. But try investing at least 20%. So say you're earning 10,000 a month, you at least have to invest 2,000 a month and then keep increasing that amount. Now imagine you're earning 10% interest on your investment. Now I'll tell you in numbers why investing early is so important. There are so many investment calculators available online, so we'll use one of them and we'll calculate the amount of return you're going to get. If you start investing at 20 with 2,000 per month at 10% interest rate till the age of 40, you'll get around 15 lakhs with an investment of around 4 lakhs. Now let's say you start investing at 30 with the same amount. Same inflation, same interest till the age of 40. You'll get around 4 lakhs by the time you're 40. Look at the difference in the amount. If you invest for 20 years, you get 15 lakhs, and you invest for 10 years, you get around 4 lakhs. Just by being 10 years late, you've lost so much money. This is the power of compounding. Now let's do a reverse calculation. Say you want to have 1 crore by the age of 50 and you're 20 right now. So how much should you invest every month for the next 30 years so you can end up having 1 crore by the age of 50? So let's calculate over here. So you would need to invest around 4,500 per month to end up with 1 crore in 30 years. That's how you do the reverse calculation. Now let's discuss where you should invest. Don't we all want sky-high returns as quickly as possible without the risk of losing the money we invest? Well, a high return, low risk investment doesn't exist. Maybe in an ideal world, but the ideal world also doesn't exist. Risk and returns are directly related. They go hand in hand. Higher the risk, higher the returns. Lower the risk, lower the returns. So it depends on your risk appetite. You have to match your own risk profile with the associated risks of the product before investing. Now, there are two types of assets: financial assets and non-financial assets. Financial assets include mutual funds, FDs, stocks, and the non-financial assets include gold, real estate, etc. This video is about investment for beginners, people who are just starting out, so I'll not be discussing real estate in this video. So let's look at where you should invest to build wealth. Number one, mutual funds. Millennials are turning towards mutual funds because we get a much needed flexibility of investing a small amount frequently. Mutual funds are one of the few investment vehicles that offer the inflation beating returns. Mutual funds are basically a collection of individual stocks. Because there are several stocks in each mutual fund, you don't depend on just one company to earn gains. So you can spread your risk out rather than putting your eggs in one basket. And in mutual funds, you don't need to have the market knowledge. They are managed by expert fund managers. The best utilization of mutual funds happens when you stay invested for an extended period, say for 5 years or more. Unleash the power of compounding by investing in mutual funds. You can invest in equity funds. They yield excellent returns in the long term. Equity funds invest in the shares of different companies. Debt mutual fund schemes are suitable for people who want steady returns. They are less volatile and considered less risky as compared to equity funds. Next is stock market. You can earn the highest returns if you invest in stock markets. Invest with long-term investment horizon in mind. This tackles the market volatility and benefits you in the long run. Now, unlike mutual funds, to invest in stock markets, you need to have market knowledge. Trading and speculating are short-term and amount to higher risk. Investing in stocks might not be everyone's cup of tea. It's a volatile asset class and there's no guarantee of returns. It can be difficult to pick the right stock when you're just starting out. So take your time. Talk to financial advisors, study the market, and then invest. And you need to open a demat account to start investing in stock market, which is not the case with mutual funds. You don't need a demat account to invest in mutual funds. Now let's talk about one of my favorite forms of investing, the lustrous gold. And I'm not talking about the gold jewelry here. I won't recommend jewelry as a form of investment, especially when you're starting out, when you're in your 20s. Because with gold jewelry come making charges, maintenance, safety issues, high cost. You can buy gold bonds, gold ETFs, or you can buy gold online or offline. By investing in gold funds, you are basically investing in companies that operate in gold and gold related activities. As the gold prices increase globally, so do your investments. Gold has an inverse relationship with equity investments. For example, if the equity market starts going down, gold would perform really well. Gold prices shoot up when market faces turbulence, which is what happened in 2020. Considering gold as an investment option in your investment portfolio will be a buffer to the overall volatility of your portfolio. Gold is a great investment and Indians know that. Although the price of gold can be volatile in the short term, it's always maintained its value over long term. Since 1990, gold on an average has returned 10% every year. It's a very good commodity. It doesn't fluctuate much. Through the years, it has served as a hedge against inflation and the erosion of major currencies. It's an investment well worth considering. Now let's talk about cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is the new buzzword. Everyone's talking about it. It's everywhere. Elon Musk loves it. It's on his Twitter profile. It seems like the next generation investment tool. Invest the amount that you think if you were to lose, your life won't come to a standstill. Invest only what you can afford to lose. It's highly volatile. A detailed video on cryptocurrency will be up super soon, and I'll be sharing my journey of investing in crypto and how I almost lost thousands of dollars had I not held on to my investment. Personally, I do believe it's the currency of the future. In fact, when I had just started investing in crypto, I think in 2017, the prices crashed. We all know the great crypto crash of 2018. After an unprecedented boom in 2017, the price of Bitcoin fell by about 65% in January 2018. But I held on to mine till 2020 when the prices finally started rising. So make sure you do your research and invest only what you can afford to lose. Next one is fixed deposit. Do I suggest investing in FDs? Not so much. So I won't lie, when I started investing, I started with a fixed deposit because that seemed like the safest option available. But then the interest rates are not that lucrative. So what I do is I prefer my fixed deposits to pay me interest either monthly or quarterly. The amount I have in my FDs, I treat it as cash. Cash I would need if there's an emergency. I can close the FD and the amount will be transferred to my account instantly. Basically, the amount that I think I won't need for a few years, but I might need it. So that goes into my FDs. But that's a very small portion of my entire portfolio. FDs are for people who don't want to risk at all. But in your 20s, you don't have to protect your money. You have to grow your money. So I won't recommend putting your money into FDs in your 20s. FDs are okay for old people because they need to protect their money. So say when you're 60 and if the market crashes, your money would be gone. But when you're young, in your 20s, and you're going to invest say till 50, and even if the market crashes now, you have your entire life ahead of you, and the market is going to crash a lot of times and it will also rise. All you need to do is keep investing and hold your investments. And an even lower risk investment is your bank deposit. Then there is National Pension System, which is a long-term retirement focused fund. Then there's Public Provident Fund. Now let's see how much you should invest. This is a percentage of your portfolio. Earlier, I had discussed how much you should invest from your monthly salary, which is 20%. So you can invest 30% in stocks, 40% in mutual funds, 20% in gold bonds, and 10% in cryptocurrency. And that too, if you really do your research. And another point I want you to note here is to see for yourself, where are you getting the most return, and slowly allocate more money to that investment option. We live in a tech savvy world. We have so many platforms to learn and where to invest. So don't be scared to invest. Get in touch with the financial advisors. Do your research. Take one step at a time and you'll realize it's not that scary. And if you're not making money while you sleep, what's the point? So that's it in today's video. Give it a big thumbs up if you like it. Share it with your friends so they can learn. Subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified every single time I post a new video. See you in my next video.